The next drifting event is only a couple of weeks away, and I want to bring some passengers with me, but that means that the G needs a roll cage. Now, I do have a full cage kit set up already ready for this car. I do have a welder, we'll get to that in a second, and I should have everything in my garage to be able to do this. But the question is, can I get it done in time? Can I get it done with my absolutely limited skills? And will it pass tech? I guess we're gonna find out. Okay, this is my G35. This is actually an Drift HQ rental car. Tommy Effia drove it. It's been in a couple of videos, but I picked it up for a great deal. It is already set up with FDF. It has got dual caliper set up in it. I've already got a bunch of Prisma goodies inside. So you can take a look at that. It is ready to go, but the one thing it is missing that it definitely needs is going to be a roll cage. Now, if you didn't know, Cage Kits very rarely does sales, but they do one on Black Friday, and I picked this up for an absolute steal, and I'm super, super pumped to get it in there. But the issue, well, we got a couple issues. Here's the first one. This is the welder that I have. It is a Hitbox. It is one of those kind of knockoff brands. It works great for everything that I normally do with it. It does accept gas. I should have pretty much everything within this to do it. I just don't know if it's going to hold up to all the work that needs to go into putting a roll cage in. The next big issue is, well, me. I am not a great fabricator. I know a lot of great fabricators. Some of my best friends are phenomenal fabricators. Even my sister is a fabricator. But for me, I've never really been good at welding, so I don't even know if I have the skills to be able to do something like this. Now, the big upside is that Cage Kits, you can buy one of these practice welding tools, and this should give you an idea as well. They laser etch everything, so there's really, I mean, the chances of you screwing it up are pretty slim. They also give you full instructions on everything, give you different plates to practice with everything. It's all here, it's etched, it's marked, there's numbers on everything. This should be as simple as it can get when it comes to putting in a roll cage. But just because it's simple doesn't mean that I'm gonna be able to do it, because as I said, I am not a fabricator. So here's how the interior looks right now. As you can see, it's semi-gutted, but there's still a lot of work to do. There's so much sound deadening that's got to come out, bits of carpet, these brand new seats have to come out, and the back still needs to be completely gutted. So with a Amazon welder with very limited experience and a car that still needs a ton of work, let's see if we're gonna hit that deadline. First things first though, I gotta start gutting this thing and getting everything out. All right, my favorite part of gutting any car. Look at what you found. So we got a nice little phone mount here. What else do we get? There's a tube of toothpaste, there we go. And then some fuses. Lots of change, tons of change. Bunch of washers. All right, sick. Just lots more to go, that's all. We're getting there. Oh man, lots more to go. Okay, with the back pretty much gutted out for the big stuff. I'm gonna have to take up all the insulation. I'll have to get some dry ice stuff here soon. Next thing to tackle is gonna be the dash. You know, like all of us, did some YouTubing. It's gonna suck. So that's where I'm at. I gotta get it out. I'm hoping I don't have to take like the handbrake and everything else out. But yeah, this is the next big piece to make its way out of the vehicle. Yeah, main part of the dash is out, and now it's time to take out all the HVAC controls. I guess we're going full race car spec in here. We're just gonna gut it. I'm gonna keep some of the components I think I need to keep, but everything else gets unplugged. I'm just hoping this car doesn't have some weird security issue and I'm gonna run into a problem later, and input foreshadowing here if that's the case. But making good progress. Well, you know that whole like scope creep thing? Not that we're in scope creep right now, because this is just stuff that has to get done, not even that I want to get done. but I am concerned about getting this connected back up. There's a few things I'm gonna have to look up. But regardless, I would argue the hardest part of the job thus far is done. Not altogether. There's a lot more to do. I would love to know what parts of this harness I don't need anymore, but that's not gonna happen. But we are gonna try and get it pulled out as best as possible. All right, that's where we're at. So pretty much got it out. Not entirely sure what parts of wiring harness I can keep, what I can't. I gotta do some vacuuming, try and get all the garbage out of here, and then next up is gonna be dry ice, which I might tackle today. We'll see. I'm gonna need several pounds of it. So yeah, I mean, unless I don't do the dry ice, but I feel like I've come this far. I've already got it gutted. It would be a shame if I didn't, and it'll be much harder once the cage is in. So first up though, let's just try and get as much crap out of here as I can, and then we'll worry about dry ice. Dry ice has been obtained. It's about 60 bucks at Publix. I got about 20 pounds at $2.89 a pound. So I was thinking on the drive, I don't know if it's, I was gonna put the dash bar back up and then I can hang the harness over. I think I'm just gonna kind of work on one side, flip everything back over. So I'll move all this stuff over, throw a bunch down, lift up these little harnesses as well, because I'm worried that the dry ice might crack some of the wiring in that. And yeah, get to banging. So I'm trying to get big chunks of it around the edges wherever I can and hope that does it, but I'm not gonna lie, this stuff is on there and I am concerned that this is not gonna wanna come off and that I don't have nearly enough dry ice. Well, not quite enough to do all of it. Probably have to get about the same amount again, but we're getting there. I might also just blow torch some of this out or get a big heater, but we're getting there. Now I gotta figure out if I'm gonna paint it or what I'm doing. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, here is where we're at. So I'm out of dry ice. I actually tried to pressure wash some of this stuff off. That didn't work. Thankfully here in Florida, this will dry out in a matter of minutes. But got a lot of it. I just got to figure out how to get the rest off. So yeah, I guess I'll be back with you with either more dry ice or a better method. All right, it's been I don't know, like 2 weeks. Lots happened in those 2 weeks. I have a mustache. I don't think I had this before. I got really sick and now I'm back. Oh, and the car's pretty much gutted, so let's talk about that. So this is where we sit right now. Significantly better than when you saw it, but still not perfect. Still have little bits. Let me talk you through what I think is the best way to do this. First, dry ice works really well. Make sure it is in small pieces. Big pieces don't do shit. You need the small pieces. After that is done, use an air chisel, but you have to be careful because you might end up splitting seams and things, which I did end up doing a little bit, so I have to weld those up. The air chisel worked incredibly well. And then after that, you want to use a wire wheel to get the really nasty stuff off. And then get yourself some of this 3M general purpose adhesive cleaner. This shit is incredible. It's expensive. That was 40 bucks. But we are now at a point where we can start actually looking at the cage kits. Now, I do have a bit of a problem. That is my welder, and everybody I've talked to says it's probably not going to do the job. So I have a decision to make if I'm going to use that or I'm going to spend the money and get myself a like $500 welder, Lincoln MIG Pack 180, something like that. But what I think I'm going to do regardless is I'm going to start trying to just figure out where the cage goes. I got a lot of the wiring out, almost all of it out, the pedals mostly. These rear looms I could probably take out. From what I understand, the main hoop actually goes in back here. So I may have to take this out or at least move it significantly more. So yeah, that is what is kind of left. So lots, but we're getting real close. I'm not gonna be doing more of this. Also, if you haven't had a chance yet, I don't have many of these shirts left. They are on the shop right now. At the time of recording, I only have like 4 larges left. There's a bunch of mediums and XLs though. Either way, let's figure out this placement. Okay, I think today I'm gonna try and see where this welder is at. I know it's not great. I've more or less been advised against using it, but I wanna give it a shot. I just wanna, like, at least, if nothing else, find the comparison. Now, I don't have the correct outlet for it. I need to run it off a generator. Everything is against me in this, but at least let's see where this welder's at. I'm also doing this on flux core. So let's just see. That's it. That's all I want to do. Yeah, I probably shouldn't use it to try and weld in this roll cage, but let's figure out how far off it is for science. All right, according to the ChatGPT, 17.5 volt, 9.7 amp. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. All right, let's get it in the light so you can see it's a little bit better. I mean, it's flux core, so it's a little gross looking, but I would argue there's definitely penetration there. Maybe I'm going a little quick and I need to let it build up a little more. Let's clean it up and see. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely penetration there. Hopefully this angle is not too awkward. I'm gonna probably weld 1 or 2 more pipes on, and then we'll take a look. But I think if I switch it over to gas, I might be in a good spot. So might see if I can borrow my neighbor's setup. Okay, so I did take my own advice here. I went and got a welding cart. I went and got a bottle. I'm waiting right now on the proper MIG wire and everything else. But in the meantime, I am going to at least get some of these holes patched up. So start off with the biggest one, which is that. I might go and do these ones over here. I probably should at some point, but we'll see. I'm gonna start with that, and that I can at least tack in without having to go with it. But pretty excited. This is the first, honestly, this is the first time I've had like a proper welding setup, and super stoked on that. So let's get some templates made, some metal cut out, and go from there. All right, today's the day. I've been putting it off for a little bit, but today's the day everything goes in. I mean, maybe not everything, but a lot of it. Spent last night getting the welder dialed in with the gas and sending photos off to a bunch of friends. So hopefully, I mean, they gave me a lot of feedback. I am at the kind of at the limit of what the generator can put out to get everything welded in. So hopefully it holds up. But yeah, spent a lot of time practicing. Basically, I mean, it's probably a little warm, but I've just gone through and practiced as many different things. I mean, some of these are much newer and much older than others, but hopefully that helps. So basically, from everything I've read, what I need to do is get the main hoop in, not welded in, but like in its spot, get my down bars or whatever you want to call them, like main bars in, get those tacked up. And I kind of just want to tack up everything, not loose, but I don't want to weld my plates in or anything like that yet. I want to know where they are, but I don't want to weld them in. And then kind of just make sure like anything like door bars, roof bars, stuff like that is ready to go. And then we'll take the whole cage and kind of tip it forward so I can get in and weld everything. The upside is I do have the sunroof, which will hopefully mean I have a bit more room. It's actually fairly thin. I might have to take those out, but that is the plan right now. So main hoop, I'll get that close, and I'll get a bar or two kind of just tacked in, like 1 or 2 tacks in an easy spot. That way, if I have to take them out, that I can. And then we'll go from there. That's kind of my plan. I also have to look and see if there's any spots that might get put behind a door to make things difficult as well. I don't think there's many, but I definitely have roof and stuff like that. So it's going to require a lot of thinking, which, you know, not always the best at. So let's see where we get. All right, it's been like 2 hours and I feel like I've gotten nothing done. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty overwhelmed by this and sort of regretting my decision to want to tackle this myself. Feeling pretty not prepared. So I think I need to do a little bit more work on some stuff, but fuck, this is not easy. I will say Cage Kit makes it super easy because you just kind of like putting everything in place, but like fuck, everything's got to be in the perfect spot before you even tack. And I am struggling a little bit. Like I'm gonna have to redo everything up here. Like started to get it together and then looked and this whole fucking bar is shifted. So like this is all useless. I'm gonna have to cut this out and it's just not easy, but we'll get there. All right, so here's where we're at. I think I got things mostly squared away. My welds are getting there. I know, I'm gonna receive a lot of hate about this, but I'm planning on coming back through grinding a lot of it and kind of doing a bit more. So I did drop the cage for this bit. I'm probably gonna look and see what needs to be done in the door bars as well. That I may need to have to like reach in and weld. But yeah, I don't think I want to do any more cross. That way I can still bend stuff in if I need to. So I might have to get this set back up. I don't have them on their pedestals yet, but yeah, I needed to get at least something in there that was welded sturdy for the most part. And then, yeah, we'll start working on the next bit. All right, so my thought right now is getting back in here. Obviously, is going to be a massive issue trying to weld. So I want to get at least the door bars tacked in, and then I'm hoping I'll still be able to drop it down and get access, but it'll be tough. So ratchet strap to hold everything in place. Everything is lining up, which is good because I'm obviously concerned about getting that welded in, but that's all right. I'm going to just tack in the door bars on that side. This side's not as necessary, but obviously I want them in the right place. I might, I don't know, I'm debating whether or not I just leave them out. But for right now, I want to get those tacked in, and then I'll do that side. Okay, so I don't know, 5 hours later, we got door bars in. I'm not gonna get too close to any of the welds. Getting up in here really sucked. I basically had to use the tint of the windshield to reach around and grab that. But I think we've got all the shitty parts done. It's gonna be a matter of lifting this back up. I've got to grind down where all the boxes go. And I've already done that in the back. I didn't do it in the front, and I'm gonna regret that. And then I think we're pretty much at the point where it's gonna get welded in place and everything else is more or less reachable. The anti-intrusion is gonna suck to get all the way around that, but I think it's close enough. So I definitely had to bump up the amperage on the welder. Other than that, not too bad. What do you think, Luke?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. We'll see how it does in its first crash. Okay, back at it. Couple little updates since the last time. I got these bars in. There's a few things that I need to like do, but the big thing right now is going to be lifting this back up and getting the plates in. I'm just going to at least tack the plates in for right now. Actually, I could probably just weld them in. Back plates are going to be first. So what it is, I tried to get everything kind of in and realize that the back plates more or less hit first. So I need to do those. I need to get those welded in. The other thing that I'm running into with this is it is not happy at the temperature I truly need to get really, really good welds. It's just inconsistent. It'll like kind of like click and then reset. And a lot of it is that the generator is kind of idling down and then idling up, and it doesn't really like it. And that's been a giant pain. So what I am going to be doing is adapting it over to the RV plug, which I'm hoping will let me, hopefully let me do this a little bit better. But for right now, I need to get the plates in, at least on the C pillars. A, B, C. And then once those are in, I got to lift the cage up. But it's a very, very tight fit. I'm using some large breaker bars, as you can see over there, to be able to do it. So that is where we're at. Not very exciting, but we're getting very close to the end. Okay, we are back. I don't know where we're at. This is where we are. The cage is now up on its pedestals. I'm hoping that this is the last time I will have to lift it or bring it down. I did weld in back there. Didn't go amazing. I thought I had everything cleaned off. I apparently did not. So there's going to be some grinding and re-welding for sure. These should go better. I do need to get in there and clean up that. There's a bit of a gap in there. I think a large hammer will fix that. I have to do the anti-intrusion bars, which will go this way, which I am doing because I have everything to do it. I might as well. And then we got to do crossbars, front and back. And after all of that is done, then I will weld to the plates, just in case I still need to shift anything down. I don't want to weld the plates to the chassis if I don't have to. Well, I have to there. That kind of need to be done. That they aren't going to shift, but there is a chance that these might shift a little, and that more than likely, I mean, that might. It shouldn't, but I don't know. I'm so afraid about permanently welding. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm swapping over to using the RV, the 30 amp, and I'm hoping that will cut down on my issues, because what's been going on is when I want, let's say 130 amps, is the generator is at like a lower idle. This demands it, the generator's a bit delayed, and this kind of shuts down. So yeah, I have the dryer back there that I could potentially, but then I need the extension cord. Maybe that would fix my issue. I don't know. This is a 110, 220, could go either way. Anyways, so that's where I'm at. So I think what I'm gonna kick off with is maybe the anti-intrusion bars to see how those fit up. And I want to test out this. So maybe I'll weld something with this first, just to make sure that this is working correctly, and then I'll work on the anti-intrusion bars. So I think I can probably get in here. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get a couple of these X bars done because it's close and I can screw with stuff, and we'll go from there. All right, we're back on it, and I've run into a pretty major issue. So I started looking at getting into the crossers before I do the horizontals. I figured if I cross and get that part done first, that would be better overall. But the issue I've run into is that now the cutouts for that pipe are not going to work because there is a bunch of welds in the way, as you can see. So, as you can see. So what that means is I now get to go in and grind out a bunch of the welds that I've already put in. Yeah. So yeah, that's not ideal. And I'm kind of at this point now where I'm no longer super having a ton of fun with the project, which is not a good place to be in, and we all get to this point. It means that I have to push through. I've got to do a bunch of stuff I don't want to do. And with any project, this is always the toughest part. And I'm not super stoked about it because I'm very close, but the next little bit is going to suck really bad. But that, unfortunately, is where I'm going to leave you guys for right now. I have a lot of thinking to do. I still have a lot of welding to do. I got a lot of cleanup to do. I'm going to have to grind down those welds and potentially face an uncomfortable truth of how bad the welds are. If they're really bad, then I may have to go through and grind down a lot of welds, especially my early ones. So that's where I'm at right now. I got a lot of work, a lot of thinking, a lot of planning to do, and I hope you guys stick around because I don't know what's going to happen on the next little bit. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and all that fun stuff, and we'll catch you on the next one.